loves, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria, and today we're going to be talking about some books that are on my TBR by new to me authors. So my biggest goal every single year for basically the past 2-3 years has been to read more new to me authors. I tend to get into this rut where I only read books by authors that I love. It makes it difficult to pick up new authors, and I end up reaching for ones that I know and love and reading new releases more than I'm reading like new backlist titles by authors that I've never read before. This video is just gonna be me letting you know some books that are currently on my TBR by new to me authors. These are ones that I've just heard about a lot and I've wanted to get to for a while and I just haven't gotten to yet. So this video is basically me trying to hold myself accountable and have you guys hold me accountable to say read more new to me authors. So please leave some in the comments if there are authors that I've never talked about on my channel that you absolutely love. Leave them in the comments and tell me that I need to read them. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 written down here that I'm just going to share with you that are on my TBR that I want to get to. So the first one is actually one that was released very recently, and I immediately added it to my TBR because the author is Michae from Oh Hey It's Michae. I love Michae's channel. I've been watching her for so long. I think she's absolutely fabulous. I have had the honor to meet her in person at Book Bonanza this year, and she is just as wonderful in person as she seems in her videos. And so when she announced that she was writing a book, I immediately added it to my TBR. It is called Take You Down by Michae Marie, and it is a rock star romance. So basically from the description of this book, it seems as though it is a rock star romance following Walker and Scarlett. Walker is a part of a famous band and he and his bandmates are on tour, and Scarlett ends up joining their tour, and I believe she's a singer as well, but she's not as known. She's kind of trying to be more popular, I guess, and she's on tour with this famous band, and Walker and Scarlett have a romance. It seems slightly angsty or emotional, which sounds really good, and I think the cover is absolutely gorgeous. And you guys know that I don't need to know a whole ton about the books that I read before I read them. It's basically like the cover and the buzzwords are what really draws me to it, and so I think it sounds fabulous and I definitely want to read it and support Michae. So the next one that I have is another one that's by a booktuber and person that I know, and that is Madison Fox. Good Game by Madison Fox came out this month in October, and this book sounds so good. I have seen so many of my friends read and love this, and I definitely want to read it and support Madison. It is a gamer romance. So basically what I understand about it is the hero is part of this group of masked gamers, masked streamers, and the heroine meets him while he's masked and they kind of hit it off, and then she also meets him another time when he's unmasked, and so she's falling for him as he's unmasked and falling for him while he's masked, but doesn't know that the two people are the same person. And I think that sounds great. I love a little like hidden identity type of trope there. And I think that the idea of like a gamer romance sounds really cool. I'm not a huge gamer, but my brother is, and so I've been around it for a long time. He likes to talk to me about it, and so I understand a lot about it, but I'm not a gamer myself. I think it'll be really interesting. I think that's really fascinating. I think it'll be a really interesting read, and I'm excited for it. The next one that I have is The Wrong Bride by Katharina Mora, or just Katharina Mora in general, but this series, which I think is called The Windsors, is the one that is the most interesting for me. Katharina Mora I actually met at Book Bonanza, and she seemed so nice in person. She was just an absolute sweetheart, and she actually gave everyone at Book Bonanza one of her books in our like swag bag when we got there. And so that book, which I cannot remember the name of, I'll put a picture on the screen, that one sounds fantastic, but I learned that it's actually like book 4 in the series, and this series follows like really rich people, and I'm intrigued. This one, The Wrong Bride, seems to be a romance between a heroine and her sister's fiance. So I think like there's supposed to be an arranged marriage, but then her sister kind of like dips. And so she has to take the place of her sister and get married to this guy in order to like join their families. And that sounds messy and dramatic, and I am here for it. This one just seems really interesting. This whole series seems really interesting, and I definitely want to read Catherine Amora. The next one that I have is Emily Rath, and specifically the book Pucking Around. I've heard a lot about this one, and it is a hockey reverse harem, which is just the perfect buzzwords for me. I love hockey romance. I always have, and I love reverse harems. So the idea of a reverse harem and a hockey romance is super interesting to me. So I'm definitely gonna have to read it. I'm sorry, there's cat hair on my mouth. There we go. I'm definitely gonna have to read it. It just seems really, really good, really interesting. And I know that a lot of people have said that it's really, really long, but I think the audiobook is coming out soon, so I'm definitely gonna have to pick it up when it comes out. The next one that I have is The Nanny by Lana Ferguson. I saw Christi from Christi Reads a Lot talk about this one. It's a nanny romance for a single dad where the nanny previously had an OnlyFans account, and when she gets a job as a nanny, the guy who is her employer, the single father, was her biggest like supporter on her OnlyFans, but she obviously doesn't know that he was her biggest supporter. And I think that she might have worn a mask, and so he doesn't know. So it's this like interesting dynamic. I don't know if he knows that she is the person that he supported on the OnlyFans. I'm pretty sure he does. But it just seems like a messy, interesting, fun contemporary romance. I love a good nanny romance. You guys know I love a single dad romance. So any excuse to read a single dad romance, I'm in. It must be super good because it is taking so long for the hold on the library for the audiobook to come in. And this book isn't like old. It's very new, so it must be really, really well loved. The next one that I have is a mafia romance, and that is Sinful Vow by Asia Monique. I saw somebody on TikTok talking about this book. It was a Black creator on TikTok whose name I cannot remember. I am so sorry. Otherwise, I would link them. But it was somebody who was sharing more romances by Black authors, and I screenshotted a whole bunch of ones that sounded really interesting, but this one specifically was the one that sounded so good to me, very up my alley. It is a mafia romance. So I believe that this series is called Mafia Misfits. I think that's what it is, if I remember correctly. But I believe that the heroine in this one is a mafia like princess, and she has an arranged marriage to a guy in the mafia, and very unhappy about her arranged marriage with this guy who's like a head of a mafia. And they obviously have romance. It sounds so good. I love a mafia romance. I love an arranged marriage in mafia, and I'm just excited about it. I think it's going to be fabulous, and I need to read more mafia romances because I really do love them. I love a good morally gray hero with a badass heroine, and I feel like those are definitely like mafia elements. Okay, the last one that I have is Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I have heard quite a bit about Lila Sage. She's become very popular recently. So I believe that this one is a like cowboy type romance. The heroine wanted to leave her small town. It was like her goal of her to leave, go to college, get a career. And I believe that she does that, but then gets injured and ends up having to come back to her hometown and having a forbidden romance with a hero in her small town. I love the cover of this. I think it's so interesting. It kind of looks like reminds me of like a comic book drawing, or like I just like that kind of like shaded type of cover. I think it looks really interesting. And I love the cowboy hat, the idea of a cowboy romance. I feel like with the popularity of Elsie Silver's Chestnut Spring series, a lot of people have been really interested in like cowboy era romance. And so I want to join in on that. I want to get into it, and I think that this sounds fabulous. So I definitely want to read it. So that is just a couple of the new to me authors that are on my TBR. Please, like I said in the beginning, let me know down in the comments who your favorite authors are if I've never talked about them. I need more new to me ones, and I'm very, very excited to continue reading new to me authors. But that is going to be it for this video. So like if you liked it, subscribe, stick around, see more content from me, and I hope that you have the absolute best day.